So welcome once again and good morning. So I hope you have already opened as I said a while ago, we might have a different interface now because I opened a file called a project called FINTSAR K31. So let me walk you through how to create a project. But before we create a project, let's see, may I ask you if this interface is okay? The other choice is under Tools, Global Options, and Appearance. The white background is Chrome. Okay, so there are different themes here. If I press OK. All right, so this is the Chrome font, the theme. The other one is Tools. I usually only have two options, either the Chrome or the Cobalt, like this. Okay, so may I know, class, what's your preference? Would you prefer the Chrome or this blue-colored theme? Chrome or Cobalt? Chat, please. Cobalt. Okay, Cobalt. Okay, thank you. All right. So, yeah, others also prefer Cobalt. Okay, so let me use Cobalt for the duration of our course. Now, as I said, when you're working, there are four window panes here. You have the script window, you have the environment window. Okay, all the data that you have loaded will be recorded here. You also have the console where you can find the results, the output coming from your codes here in the R script. And also you have this window, Files, Plots, Packages. For example, if I click Packages, you will find here a listing of the packages that are installed, that are already loaded in your computer. Now, for you to access a particular package, for example, if I want to access dplyr, okay, which most probably you don't have yet there, but I have here because I already installed this before. For example, this one, dplyr, okay. So if I want to use the functionalities of dplyr, either I type library dplyr or just click this. If I click this, you'll notice that it automatically writes here in the console, library dplyr. And you can now make use of the different functions that come with dplyr. Okay, if I unclick this, then it will detach. Okay, the equivalent code is detach the package dplyr, unload is equal to true. A while ago, we loaded it, this one, using the library function. If I unclick this, it's the same as detaching. So which means that you cannot anymore use the functionalities of this package dplyr. All right, we said that the default is that the script window is here and then the console is below. If I prefer personally to put the console here on the right side, because when I write codes here in the script window, and then the outputs are generated, it will be just on the right side. So easier to see, okay, easier to manage as compared to if the console is here below. So I'll have to sometimes scroll down below just to see the output coming from my code or code chunk. Now, if I want to rearrange this, okay, that's very easy. You can use view. Okay. Asan na siya, no? View ba yun? Okay. Show other panes. Okay, or you can use that, or here pala panes, no? Okay, and then there are choices here. Console on the left, console on the right, etc. Or the faster way is go to Tools, and then Global Options, and then here Pane Layout, and click this, and then it gives us the layout, the current layout now in your computer. If I want for example, if I want the environment to be here, I just click environment, and then automatically it changes. So this is the default. Usually the source is on the upper left, the console is on the lower right, lower right. But I don't want that. I want the console to be here. So I'll just click this console, and then automatically it will change. Okay, so this is the setup that I'm using. Apply. Okay. All right. Now, if I want to know where is the working directory, or where my files are automatically saved, when I open an RMD file or an RScript file, we can use the function get WD. Let's get working directory. Okay, get working directory. If I press Control Enter, then it tells me that my default working directory is in C, users, admin, desktop, in this folder. Now, of course, you'll have a different folder. Okay, but if you want to set it to a different folder, you can just use set WD, and then type the location here where you want the working directory to be defaulted to. Okay. Now we're going to use a different way to set your working directory. It always pays to create projects for your files, for your markdown files. There's a distinct advantage in creating projects out of it. Okay, what's a project? A project is actually a folder where you put all your files. That folder becomes your working directory for that specific project. So in our case, our subject is FINTSAR K32. So what I'm going to do, you may follow along, or you can do it differently. What I'm going to do, because I have several subjects, so I'm going to create a folder, FINTSAR K32. I'm going to create an R project for that. Okay. In your case, since you only have, since you might not be using R in your other subjects, it really depends on how you want it to be named. You can name it R projects. Okay. So let me illustrate that. So how do we create a project where we are all going to save all our data file, our RMD file, HTML file for a specific project, or for a specific lesson in our case. So the way to do it is go here to File, and then New Project. Not a new file, we're not creating a new file, but rather a new project. So if I click New Project, okay, then it asks us, are you creating a new existing directory? Create a project in an existing directory? No, I'm going to create a new directory for this project. Okay, so new directory, new project. I click this. All right, then it asks me what's my directory name. I'm going to call it FINTSAR K32. Okay, so this is term 3, AY 2022 to 2023. Okay, I'm going to use this because I want to distinguish it from the other sections that I'm having. Now for browse, let me click browse. I just want to put it in the desktop here. So desktop, I click desktop, and then open. So this will be housed in the desktop there. Okay, so the directory name, FINTSAR K32 T3 2022 to 2023, and then I'm going to create it under desktop. Okay, and then I'm going to open in a new session, and then create the project. Okay, create project. So what happens? Let's see. Okay, so now I have, take a look at this, FINTSAR K32 T3. Okay, I now have a new project, and this this new project is housed here. Now take note, I still have this one, FINTSAR K31. Okay, FINTSAR K31. So the advantage of having several R projects to house your folders is that you can open several projects at the same time. Okay, so okay, let me just close this. Close. All right, so I still have my FINTSAR K32. And if I check my desktop, because that's where I save my file, my project. So desktop, you now see that I have now here FINTSAR. Let me close this. Delete this. I now have FINTSAR K32. So this is where I'm housing our lessons, FINTSAR K32. And if I open that, now take note, you have this icon. This is your R project icon. Okay. And if I open if I open the R, all right, what do you now have here? You now have an untitled default document. This is an R script document. So environment empty yet kasi wala pa tayong dinoload na data. Dito naman sa console, okay, may default siya. Tells us anong version ng R ang meron ko. R version 4.2.2. Okay, 1031. I think may bago na yata. I have to check kung ano yung ano yung bagong version ng R. I think it's 4.3.0. So I will have to update this already. Bago na yung version ni R. Okay, so let me just map this. Okay, and then under the files, kita nyo class, ito. So pag nag-open kayo ng project, makikita nyo dito lahat ng mga files na, all the files that you open. Yeah, thank you, Vince, Vic. R 4.3.0. Mine is later, an earlier version 4.2.2. So I think I will have to update this later. Okay, so makikita natin dito yung R project na create natin. Okay. Now I'm going to share with you a file that we're going to use. So let me just copy that file. Chat ko sa chat box natin. I'm going to chat file, desktop. Okay. Okay. May I request you to download this file, and then what you do is to save this RMD file in the project that we're creating. Sorry. Wait muna, wait. Okay, I forgot one thing. So, di ba nag-create na tayo ng ng folder natin, ng project natin, itong FINTSAR K32. So, what we can do is we can create subfolders here for the different lessons. So, mag-create ulit ako ng panibagong R project inside our mother project, no? FINTSAR K32. How do you do it? Same thing. So, once again, go to File, New Project, the new directory. Actually, pwede dito, no? Dito siya, no? So, it's here. Kaso lagyan ko muna ng pangalan, no? Existing directory kasi, meron tayong, di ba, yung directory natin, yung FINTSAR K32. So, this one, okay, FINTSAR K32. All right? Okay, browse. And dito na siya, no? And then, yung folder, I'll call it number 1, intro to R, data, and data structures. Okay. So we're creating another project, and this project will be inside FINTSAR K32. So that's what we're going to do. No? Marami tayong mga subfolders yan, creating separate projects for each topic. So if I click open here, okay, intro to R, create the file, yes. The folder name is not valid. Bakit? Dali, okay. Nag-error ako. Okay, let me reverse, no? Mag-open ulit ako ng new directory na lang. New directory, new project. Okay, so that I can write here the directory name 1 intro to R data and data structures. This is our first lesson, data and data structures. Okay, browse, saan ko ilalagay? Browse, ilalagay ko siya dito sa FINTSAR K32 natin. Yan, dito. No? So I have the project FINTSAR K32, and inside that, I have another project, yung intro. So lahat ng mga lessons natin, ang suggestion ko dito nyo ilalagay. Para nasa isang house lang sa isang folder. Okay, open. Okay, so andyan na siya, no? Desktop FINTSAR K32, and then open a new session, and then create project. Okay, kanina nung sa existing ayaw niya mag-create ng ganung name. Alright. Okay, so it will now open a new project. Ang pangalan ng project na yan is 1 Intro to R Data and Data Structures. Ayan. Okay, so this project is housed inside this project. Diba? If you take a look at the files here, nagkaroon ng panibagong folder dito. Itong 1 Intro to R. Diba? Bakit siya nagkaroon? Why did it now have this new folder? Why? Because, remember, okay, from our desktop, we created this project, FINTSAR K32. And then inside this one is our project file. And then we created another project inside the FINTSAR K32 project. If I click this, and then you have this, the R project for Intro to R. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is that, may I have a chat, please? If you were able to get the file that I shared with you, kindly please chat yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you can now, if you know the location of the file, for example, here it's in my case it's here. I can just copy this, Control C, or you can just drag and drop here. Okay, Control D. So I copied it now, the file, the RMD file, and also any other. If you need to load a picture file, a Word file, any type of file, you can put it here in your project, Intro to R and Data Structures. Okay, now that's very important because you can also, for example, you have an image. You can use that image for your RMD file, and it's already there in your project. So that's very easy to do. A lot easier than having your image file housed or saved elsewhere in another folder. So all data, let's say whether it's a picture data, a text data, an Excel file data, a CSV file data, you should host it here. You should post it here. Okay, and let's say you placed here several files. If you open that project in R, okay, di ba ito yung introduction to R natin, di ba? Ayan, you will find that the RMD file that we saved here, that we saved in the folder, is already here also. Di ba? Ando na siya. Okay, so let me also close this one. Hindi natin gagamitin itong FINTSAR K32. Okay, it has served its purpose. Ang gagamitin natin yan, itong Intro to R Data and Data Structures. Okay, please chat if you were able to follow. If you now see under the files window, if you now see both the R project and also the RMD file that I shared with you. just now. Chat, please. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so that's good practice, class. Always do that. When you're embarking on a particular, say, art project, create a folder for that, create an art project for that, and then load all the files that you need in that specific project. What's the advantage? If you're working, for example, on a particular RMD file, R Markdown file, and then you suddenly, let's say, nagkaroon ng power outage, nawala yung file. Pag hindi siya nakasave sa isang project, wow, hindi mo na mararecover yun. So kunyari, nakapag 500, 600 lines of code ka na, and then biglang nag-brown out o nag-power off yung computer mo, hindi mo na marirecover yung file na yun. Unless you were saving it continuously in a particular folder. Pero ito, automatic, no? If you create an R project, and then you open an R file, RMD file, even if you're not saving it, no, automatically, naka-ano yun. Part ng yung program ng R project is that to save whatever you're working on if you're working on in that specific project. Okay, I hope that's clear, no? So going back here, andito na yung okay, andito na yung 4 window panes natin, no? Si script window, si environment, si console, and then ito yung files, plots, and packages natin. Okay, since we loaded here the R Markdown file here, we can click this. Click it, and then mag-open siya dito, no? Okay. Chat, please, if you were able to access the RMD file. Okay, good. Thank you. So my suggestion is always work with R in this way. That way, sure ka na, kunyari, biglang nawala ng power or hindi mo na save tapos biglang na-close yung ano mo, andiyan dyan yan, nakasave yan. Automatically nakasave yan. And that would spare you tons and tons of trouble. Okay, so always do that. Create projects and then dun kayo mag-work. Pag nag-create ka ng project, it will now open the R file, and then pwede ka nang pumili, no? Kung R script ba yan, ang default, mag-open siya ng R script, and then you can create an R Markdown file. Sabi natin, ang gagamitin natin R Markdown file kasi may inherent advantages ang R Markdown file compared to the R file. Okay, so the file that I sent you, notice first is that if I click this, on the upper right, you can find here the outline. So click the outline. Okay, may question dito. Vince, paki-share yung question mo.
Sir, curious lang po kung may indicator po. If there's an indicator, if my code is saved already, or is it not visible na automatic po siya nagsisave?
Automatic siya nagsisave, pero hindi visible eh. Basta ang experience ko, kasi ito, kunyari, we're going to work on this, no? So ito yon. Whatever you change here, whatever you worked here, kunyari hindi mo siya na-save, automatically naka-save yon. Okay? Automatically naka-save kasi nasa dito sa folder ng R project. And that's what R does. So if it's inside an R project, it will automatically save and update kung ano man ang whatever changes you made in your RMD file, in your R file, etc. No?
Okay, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, so you can see here, do you see the outline here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, yung outline class, importante yan kasi kunyari kung gagawa kayo ng output, dapat, syempre, already you should know ano yung main points, yung main headings. No? So this is very important for let's say fixing your output. If you notice, may mga indentations dito, no? Okay, so let me start with this. Introduction to R and R Studio. If I click this, notice, wait, let me ask you, ito ba yung nakikita nyo, yung Control Alt I, Command Option I? Same ba?
Yes,
Yes
sir.
po, sir.
Okay, sige. So, ibig sabihin, save ko yung ginawa namin. Okay, anyway, notice that the presence of this pound sign, di ba? May pound sign dito, isa. Ibig sabihin yan, main heading yan. So, kung gumagawa kayo ng report, if you're creating reports, one pound sign indicates that it's a main title. Okay, if I go here, Introduction to R Markdown, notice, isa na namang isang pound sign siya, di ba? And notice, it's also it's also the main heading. Ganon din si data classes. In line siya with Introduction to R Markdown. If I click this, one pound sign. However, if you take a look at this data classes, if I click this, no? Notice na dalawa siya. Diba? So it means that this two pound sign will mean that it is under yung data classes. So may hierarchy siya. So make judicious use of this para dun sa outlining, madali nyo makita. You can easily find it. Okay, so it's not there for design. It has a purpose. It has an inherent purpose. So for example, let me illustrate that. Kunyari, lagyan ko ito ng tatlo. No? Example 1. Example lang. No? All right. What do you notice? Automatically, tingnan nyo, nag-indent pa siya under data classes. Diba? 2, pound sign, pound key, and then 3. That this means that example 1 here will be under number 2. Okay? And automatically, ina-outline na ni R. So, kita natin yan. Alright? So, make judicious use of this. Siyempre, di ba, at the beginning, alam nyo na yung main topics nyo. Diba? Ano yung main outlines nyo? So, maybe number 1, introduction. Number 2, kunyari, sa multiple linear regression, ang outline ng output nyo, number 1, introduction. Number 2, introduction and objectives. Introduction about the company or the data. And then under it could be the objectives. Dalawang hashtag dapat yun, dalawang pound sign. And then another pound sign will be descriptive statistics, for example. Okay, and then under that, may mga subheadings. And then another one hashtag will be linear regression model, for example. So, gamitin nyo yun dito for easier access also. Okay, if you want, because this is, parang ano siya, parang, well, index nga, no? Parang table of contents. If you go here, it will bring you to this specific place in your data. Okay, any questions with that, class? Make good use of the hashtag there. It will form part of the outline. Okay, thank you, Krishan. Okay, so okay, salamat ha. Okay, good. Thank you, class, for your feedback. If you have questions, please feel free to raise your questions. Please do not be ashamed. This is a safe space, no? Yung ano natin, yung klase natin, itong online or yung face-to-face natin. Any question will be treated with dignity and with respect. So huwag kayong mahihiya. No need for you to be ashamed of your question. All right. So yung unang part, okay. So this one, which is the default, when you open RStudio, meron ito, no? Di ba, ano to? R file to R script. Okay, and we discussed last time that the difference between an R script and an R Markdown file is the presence of the YAML, this one, and also the code chunk. Si R Markdown may code chunk, no? Ito mga code chunk niya. Si R script wala, yan lang siya. Okay, so when you run a code here, for example, di ba, nagbigay tayo ng 3 plus 23, no? Control Enter. The output will not be found here. It will be found in the console. May advantage yan, may disadvantage. Ang advantage yan, for coding purposes, okay lang siya. Okay, for coding purposes. But for report purposes, okay, hindi siya maganda kasi gusto mo, yung code mo and the output will be on the same page. Diba? Para if you're going to print it, ando doon na siya, ando doon na yung output mo. Whether it's a plot or a model output, model result, etc. Gusto mo in the same page siya. So that's the power of an R Markdown file. Ito yan. Okay. Now, si R Markdown file, meron ganito, no? If you take a look at this, meron siyang dot, dash, 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 and then dash, dash, dash. Okay, I'll just remove this. I-remove nyo muna yan, no? Next time, pag-aaralan natin yung yung mga ng YAML. So there's a title here, author, date, and then the output. So HTML document. Okay. Now just to make this clear, let's create a new R Markdown file. How do you create a new R Markdown file? You go here, dito sa plus, dito, no? Dito sa icon na to. Click this, and then here you have an option. Are you creating an R script? That's Control-Shift-N. If you're going to create that, pareho lang nito yun, no? Magkakaroon na naman ng panibagong tab dito na ganito din, R script then. Or it can be a Quarto document. By the way, no? Ito bago lang to, relatively new compared to R Markdown. R Quarto document is much more powerful than R Markdown. Okay, mag-create lang ako example Yan, nag-create ako ng, tapos sasabihin sa atin, title, gawin ko lang trial 1 Quarto. Okay, and then the default is HTML. Okay, you can make it as a PDF file or a Word file. Okay, and then create. Alright, so lalabas dito. Ang name niya, trial 1 Quarto. And you can see here the difference between an R Markdown file. R Markdown file and an R Quarto file, QMD to. May inherent differences sila, but we will not be discussing the difference now as we go along kasi some of the outputs that we will generate should be written in a Quarto document and not in an R Markdown. Yung lumang style is ito, yung R Markdown. Okay? So may mga inherent advantage din yung isang QMD. Ito RMD file to R Markdown, RMD. Ito QMD, Quarto Markdown. Actually sa interface mas maganda siya. Kita nyo yung mga default na font niya. Okay? Yung outline, di ba? Outline. Ito na yung una, di ba? Quarto. Tapos yung pangalawa, running code. Here. So, dadalawa lang naman siya sa example na to. Wala nang iba. Okay. Now, create ulit tayo, no? Create ng another R Markdown file. So, mag-create trial 1 RMD. RMD naman to. And the default is, ito, tinan nyo to, use current date when rendering the document. If I click this, tinan nyo. Okay. Okay. Take a look at this. Hindi niya binibigay yung date. Unlike dito, sinulat ko yung date dito sa RMD file ko. No? Ito, yan. Backticks are systems date, open and close parenthesis, backdate, quotes. What happens? What happens? When we render this document, when we need this document, ang mangyayari, kung ano yung date ng current, no? Yun ang ipiprint niya sa date dito. Unlike this one, pag linagay mo yung date dito may 11, then, kunyari, next month, June na. Pag ninit ko itong data na to, may 11 yung mag-a-appear. Okay, ito naman, kung ninit ko itong data na to, is file next month, on June, then ang mag-a-appear dito June. Alright. So, ito yung sample, This is a sample R Markdown file. Okay, let's suppose na ito na lahat yung Ito na lahat yung okay. Before I knit, okay, take a look at this. So this is a code chunk, di ba? Naalala yung shortcut nito, class? What's the shortcut for a code chunk? Diba ito? Control Alt I if you're using a Windows, and Command Option I if you're using Mac. Sige nga, class, lagyan natin dito. Lagyan natin ng Control Alt I for me, di ba? May code chunk. Right? Did you get the shortcut for the code chunk, class? Kindly please chat yes.
Sir,
Yes?
question po.
Sure.
What are the advantages again of code chunk?
Code chunk, okay. Ang isang advantage ng code chunk, kitang-kita mo kagad kung asan yung code mo. Unlike kung nakaano ka lang, kung walang code chunk. Kasi pwede ka rin mag-text dito di ba? May text kang ganyan, no? Then exponential. Although kita mo na red siya, exponential ng 3. Ito, this is a code, exp3. That's e to the third power. If I run this, wait. Ang galing ko to If I run this, yan, 20.0854, diba? Pero, ang hirap na siya ma-distinguish between the text itself. Okay? And also, when you print this, tsaka hindi mo siya mara-render, no? When you print this, hindi lalabas yung output. Unlike here, di ba, kapag may code chunk ka, exp to the third power, if you run this, what happens? Di ba lumalabas yung answer dito sa ilalim? So when you print this page, lalabas yung result ng code mo dito. Unlike kung kung script window ka lang. Okay? Aside from that, for easier access, imagine you have 1,000 codes here. Dito. So and you would like to review one code and nasa gitna yun. So paano mo hahanapin yun? 'Di ba? Ang hirap niyan. You have to scroll, 'di ba? Mag-scroll ka sa lahat ng mga lines of code na yan. Dito kasi, okay, you can give it a name. For example, this one. Okay? So ito, for example, if we create a code chunk, pwede natin bigyan ng pangalan. Name 1. Okay. So, ang pag-create ng code chunk is backtick 3 and then open parenthesis R and then you give it a name. Whatever name you want to give it. What's the advantage of that? So that, tingnan sa ilalim, di ba? Sa ilalim dito. If we click here, andito na yung outline natin Diba? So, if you want to find a particular code chunk, then dapat may pangalan yan, mas maganda. Kunyari, chunk 5, then give it an intelligent name. Okay, so anywhere here, you can easily find a particular code chunk, particular code. Unlike kung dito lang, di ba? Kung ordinary lang na R script, paano mo hahanapin? Kunyari, 1,000 lines na yan. Okay? Alright. Who was the one who asked the question?
Me po, sir.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, sige. Thank you, Franz. So keep your questions coming. I really appreciate that. Okay, so balik tayo dito sa inopen natin na bago. Okay. So dito, take note of this, no? Look, R, so this is now a code chunk, di ba? R setup. May pangalan to. So if I click here, dito sa chunk, ayan no, chunk 1 setup. If I click that, it will go here to that specific chunk. Tapos may nakalagay include is equal to false, and then you have here the code. We will discuss this in greater detail later. Okay. Now, once you're done with your code and your output, kunyari tapos nyo na, no? Okay. Required sa subject na to is for you to knit the document. To knit it means to print it either as an HTML file or a Word file or a PDF file. Always required as an HTML file. Although you can add on also to print it as a PDF or Word file. Okay, so how do we knit this? How do we print this? Dito sa taas class, ito, you can see here knit, di ba? Okay, if I click this down, knit, so it's either knit to HTML, knit to PDF, knit to Word. Okay, so let me knit it to HTML. which is the default also. Diba, nung nag-create tayo ng R Markdown, nakalagay output HTML document. Siya mismo nag-default. Okay, so let me knit this, knit to HTML. So first, tatanungin kayo, notice that it goes to the project natin, yung intro to R and data structure, dyan. Tapos tatanungin kayo kung ano yung file name. Let me make it file1 underscore HTML. File1 underscore HTML. Save. After you save it, mag-o-operate din siya dito. Magninit na siya. It is now converting your R Markdown into a knitted file, into a rendered file. Yun, lumabas na. Yun. Ito na yung output. So gusto kong makita sa mga projects nyo, gusto kong makita to. Okay, itong knitted file. So dapat aralin yung class kasi minsan nagkakaproblema sa pag-knit. You should look at that. Okay, take a look at this, di ba? Ano yung lumabas dito sa knitted file? Number 1, yung title. Ayan. Trial 1 RMD. Author, and then date. Lumalabas automatically since May 11 ngayon, lumabas yung date. Okay, and then take a look at this. Yung unang code chunk dito, di ba, R setup, then include is equal to false. Notice that it did not appear here sa knitted file. Hindi lumabas itong code chunk na to. Pero itong pangalawa, yung exponential e to the third, lumabas. Lumabas yung code chunk, lumabas yung result. Ito yung sinasabi natin ang advantage ng isang R Markdown file. Okay? Over just an R script. Alright. Pero ito hindi lumabas yung R setup na ito kasi linagay natin include is equal to false. Okay? Isa na yan. Okay. Nawala si output ko. And also, take note that, ano nangyari dito? Dito sa ano natin, dito sa, notice na, lumabas dito yung HTML file. No? Diba? Lumabas yung mga, whatever file you saved in your R project, lalabas yan dito. Lalabas yan dito sa files natin. Diba? Lumabas siya. Right? Tapos, let me open that again. Ito. No? Okay, so lahat ng mga code chunk dito, pati yung output niya. Okay, also the plot. No? This one. So, just to remind you, class, that your output in this subject should be in an R Markdown file, unless I tell you that make it in a QMD file. Ito yung QMD file natin, which is a lot better than improvement na to ng R Markdown. Mas maganda na yung print dito sa QMD file. And you notice medyo may kakaibahan sa pag-create ng code chunk dito. Okay? All right. So let's go back here to our file. Clear so far, class? Paki-chat nga kung so far our discussion makes sense. Of course, I don't expect you to all at once know everything kasi meron tong learning curve, no? Saka sa dami-dami ng pwedeng lessons dito, let's take it one at a time. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vince. What's important is that medyo comfortable na kayo navigating through R. Yun ang natin in this lesson. Tapos nakita nyo rin kung paano mag-render. Okay, paano mag-knit. Okay. Yes.
Kasi I tried to yung knit ko. Tapos nung ninit ko, lumabas po sa console as like warning unable to access index for repository and then marami po.
Sige, sandali lang at tingnan natin ha. Who's this?
Lawrence po.
Lawrence. Dali, Lawrence ha. Paano ko ba ilalagay na i-share mo yung screen mo?
Wait lang kasi naka-different device ako.
Different device ba yung mo? Okay.
Ito yung pang Zoom ko ngayon.
Ano yung minute mo?
Yung
What file? Is this one?
Yung file ko na sinend nyo sa...
Ito.
yes po.
Ito. Okay. Okay. Kasi may mga problems yata dito sa code ko dito eh. No? Hindi ko pa na-check to for knitting. But anyway, let me also knit this. No? Knit. Okay. Ngayon, may ninit na kasi tayo, di ba? Ito, ninit na natin to. Okay, so if you try to knit naman this one, notice na meron siyang knit to TOC. Okay, so i-clear muna natin yung knit R cache natin. Clearing the knit R cache will delete the cache directory for all our... Yan. Are you sure you want to clear the cache now? Yes? Okay. So, mag-knit ako dito. Ado din pa rin siya, no? Wait. Okay. If I delete this, knit ko na to. Okay. Medyo nagkakaroon ako ng issue dito, no? Kasi nag-delete to TOC siya. Don't save. Tinanggal ko lang, ha? Dito, tanggalin ko lang din to. I'll just remove this. Don't save. Okay. Isang document na lang to, di ba? Tinanggal ko na yung... Pero, if I knit this, okay. Knit to current working directory. Let me see. We tried this in the first class kasi. Medyo nagkakaproblema kami. So let me, Lawrence, let me address this first. Ano? I don't know if that's your question. Kung hindi siya nag-knit. Yung ba?
Hindi po, pag may nakalagay ko dito knit to HTML, pero pag ninit ko, yun may mga red text na lumalabas sa console and then like warning, unable to access index. And then
Unable to access index.
And then may pop-up na required package version could not be found. Ganun.
Anong package kaya?
Not sure.
Okay.
Pero may mga...
Okay, sige. Ganito gawin natin, ha. Wag niyo muna itong init, itong document na to. We will first go through the codes here and then saka natin init. Kasi baka may in-install ba ako na package dito na hindi niyo pa na-install? Baka, no? So, kunyari, ayan, ito, kunyari, itong lubricate, no? Itong lubricate, this is a package. So, kung hindi nyo pa nararan to, hindi nyo pa na-install, tapos init nyo siya, magkaka-problem. Alright? So, don't knit yet this file kasi iraran muna natin tong file na to. We will work on this and then saka natin i-knit siya, no? Vince, kindly share your comments dun sa ano. Ayan, no? Yan, sabi ni Vince, oh. Share mo yung comment mo dun sa to everybody.
No, sir. Ang feeling ko lang po,
Vince, yung message mo, copy-paste mo, tapos i-share mo to everyone.
Ako po, sir. Yung package lubricate.
Oh, yung nag-comment ka dito, di ba? Comment to me.
Sir.
Oh,
yes,
class, as much as possible when you give your comments, share it to everybody, no? Para everybody will get to participate in the discussion. All right, ito si Vince tinay niya ninit, no? Anong nangyari? It says package lubricate is required. Kasi nga dito, meron tayong mga codes dito na nag-install tayo, install sa 202, install that packages lubricate. Dapat ma-install muna natin 'yan, no? Bago natin init. Dapat ma-run muna natin 'to. So, as I was saying, do not knit yet this one. Yung isa kanina, okay, let me redo that. Bukas ulit ako ng R Markdown. Okay, untitled na lang. Okay, ito yun no? Wala namang mga packages na install dito. Napakasimpleng example, napakasimple na functions, okay, summary cars. Itong cars na to is a data set and it's already preloaded with R. So you can access this already without loading any package. Ganon din si pressure, no? Ganon din si pressure. Okay, so if I knit this, okay siya. Knit to HTML, okay siya. Okay, I'll call this trial2. Mamaya i-delete ko na lang to. Trial2.html. Okay. When I knit this to, yan, lumabas dito, ano? Okay, nag-knit siya. Okay. So ito na yung knitted file, no? Okay, it knitted kasi wala namang hindrance or walang package, for example, or walang wrong code. Kasi pag may wrong yung code, may mali yung code natin, then mag-error talaga yun, hindi siya mag-knit. So dapat, before you knit any file, you have to have gone through the codes already. You have to make sure that the codes already run, na naparan mo na siya. Kasi kung hindi po nang paparan, if you haven't run it, and then ininit mo siya, magkaka-error tayo. No? Okay? I hope, Lawrence, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, Lawrence. Huh? Okay, and also another thing before we leave this one, tingnan nyo to, no? Di ba yung, sabi natin, yung include is equal to false, hindi siya kasama sa pag-knit kasi linagyan natin include is equal to false. How about this? Meron pang isang code dito nakalagay ito. R pressure, echo is equal to false, and then plot ng pressure. Okay. What do you find? Ano nakita nyo, class, sa output? Dito. Sa pressure.
Sir,
Yes?
hindi po lumalabas yung code, yung output
Okay.
lang po.
Correct. Correct. Good observation. Tingnan nyo, ah. Generate yung output. Okay? Plot pressure. Pero nakalagay echo is equal to false. Ibig sabihin, if you want an output to be generated without writing the code, then ilagay nyo dyan na echo is equal to false. So marami pang pwedeng gawin no, sa isang code chunk. We haven't even scratched the surface. Okay? So you can write a code chunk and command R not to print that, yun include is equal to false. Okay, so hindi lalabas yung result nun. Not the code, not the output. Yung include is equal to false. Pag echo is equal to false, lalabas yung output but not the code chunk. Okay? So those are things that we learned just from this simple example. Okay, so punta na tayo dun sa ano natin. Let me close this. Just to make sure that we're on the same page as the first section. Okay, so I leave you, class, to read through this. Let me just point out that see our markdown, it makes us easy to write plain text and then with the output on the same page on the final document as I have shown you. This makes analysis reports highly reproducible. When I say highly reproducible, when you share your, let's say, your R project, anybody can generate yung output mo. Kaya ang tawag sa kanya yung reproducibility. Ganun yung importante sa mga research ngayon. If you share your data, if you share your R Markdown file, if you share your project, all the files that go with it, if you share it with somebody, and then that somebody opens RStudio and runs that RMD file or whatever file, Quarto file, it will be able to generate the same output. Parehong-pareho. No? Kasi, ang tawag doon, reproducibility. Okay? So that's the power. Unlike before, kung gagawa ka ng report, tapos ilalagay mo lang sa Word file, di ba? Or a PowerPoint file, or an Excel file, chances are hindi mo necessarily ma-reproduce yung output. Okay? Tapos may process yung pag-knit, no? Okay, it makes use of this package called Pandoc. But I will not anymore discuss this so much with you kasi ang subject natin, ito dinidiscuss namin sa FINTSAR. No? Pero sa FINTSAR kasi, introduction lang to, and we will have to move on fast to go to our main lesson, which is regression time series. Okay, so sa R, okay, meron tayong tinatawag na data classes, data structures. Take note, no? First, primary heading to. Okay, and it's important that we understand the different data types. Okay, so data classes, ano ba yung data classes natin? You have numeric, no? Una, numeric. So pwede ring integer. So both of these are quantitative. Okay, technically numeric din si integer, pero R makes a distinction, and other softwares, they make a distinction between numeric. So pag numeric, it can handle decimal places. Si integer, hindi. Whole numbers lang yan, no? Then you have character, then you have logical data, and then you have complex, and then you have dates. Okay, let's start with the numeric. Now, in R, we can, what we call, assign a particular name or object to a value. Okay, for example, we have here, let's say, the value pi, no? Ano ba yung pi? Alam natin si pi is the irrational number, yan, 3.1415, etc. Diba? So, ang function yan sa R is pi. Okay, but I can assign a name. So when I when I generate this code pi, lumabas yung answer 3.14. Pero walang object tayo nakikita dito, no? Sa environment, we didn't see any object that's assigned to the value of pi. What we can do is we can create an object. Okay, let's call the object D1. Data 1 is equal to pi. So what am I doing here? I'm creating an object D1, and D1 is assigned the value of pi. So if I press Control Enter, okay, ano nangyari? May lumabas dito, di ba? Sa environment natin, lumabas yung object na D1. And the value of D1 is 3.1415, etc. So, okay. Notice that when I run D1 is equal to pi, hindi na automatically nag-print si 3.14. Di ba kanina, nung a while ago, when I just press pi, Control Enter, automatically, the value of pi was outputted here, di ba? Pero nung nag-create ako ng object, D1 is equal to pi, again, let me run this, hindi siya automatically nag-generate dito, but you have here this object, D1, and it appears in the environment window. So lahat ng mga object na i-create natin, dito mag-a-appear yun sa environment window. Okay? So this is a numeric data, 3.1415, etc. Now, if I want the source window to print the number pi, then I'll just put here pi, with D1. Kasi si D1, di ba? Si D1 ano yan eh? It represents pi. So if I click Control Enter, di ba? Lalabas na yung value ni D1 dito. Okay? Or if I want for R to generate automatically, Control C. Okay. I want R to automatically generate the output for D1, the object D1. So let me put it in parentheses. No? Putting it in parentheses is another way to write D1 also. D1 is equal to pi. What if I write that and then put it in parentheses? R reads that to print D1. Okay, so Control Enter, and automatically it prints D1. Okay, mas time-saving naman to, di ba? Kasi hindi mo na ipiprint yung D1. Kanina, D1 is equal to pi, and then type mo pa si D1 para lumabas yung value ng D1. Here, open parenthesis, D1 is equal to pi, close parenthesis. When we run this, automatically lumabas yung value niya. Okay? Any questions so far, class? All right.
None, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, hindi maganda, class, yung ginagamit yung is equal to as an to name a particular value, give it a name. Bakit? Kasi chances are gagamitin mo pa yung yung equal to sa kunyari may equation ka doon. Tapos gagamitin mo na D1 is equal to pi. Tapos in this code chunk gagamitin mo pa si equal to. So it's not a good practice. That's why we have what we call an assignment operator. Assignment operator. Yung assignment operator behaves like this, equal to din siya. Now sa Windows, it's called Alt plus minus, no? Sa Mac, or option, and then plus the minus key. Okay, sa Mac to, no? Ito sa Windows. So let me do that here. So let me call this D1, and then Alt minus. So notice it's less than and then dash. This is the assignment operator. Okay, and it works the same as equal to. Okay, so let me name this D1A to distinguish it from D1. And then I'm using pi again. Okay, or let's use the yung kapatid ni ano, EXP, and then 1. So this is e to the 1. Okay, this is also an irrational number. All right. Okay, so if I enter this code, control enter, right, what happened? We now have another object D1A, 2.718, which is E. No? Okay, so, di ba, na ginamit natin tong assignment operator. Okay, could you kindly chat please if you were able to, kasi kung hindi nyo gagamitin yung shortcut, ang shortcut Alt minus, no? Alt minus, press them, or sa Mac, Option and then minus. So were you able to get this assignment operator? Kindly chat please. Okay, good. So remember that class kasi gagamitin natin yung mga objects natin sa ARG. We will assign it names and then gagamitin natin tong assignment operator. All right, so it's either Alt minus or Command Option minus here. All right. Again, hindi print siya ni R, di ba? Hindi print si exponential 1. If I run this, na-generate yung object dito. No? All right? Di ba? Nag-create tayo ng isang object na D1A and the D1A was assigned the value of e to the first power. Okay, and if we want this to be printed automatically, ganun din. Put this in close and open parentheses. All right? So just to show you, if I run this, control enter, ano nangyari? Automatically, yan, lumabas yung value dito sa source pane natin. Lumabas yung value. Okay? All right. So we looked at the assignment operator. So actually, ito yun, ano? So balikan natin itong D1, Alt minus, pi. All right? So pi is a numeric value, no? Real siya or decimal. Okay, if I check, I'm going to use a function called class. So class tells us kung anong type ng object, yung type ng data, yung isang object it contains, kunyari D1. All right, class ni D1, if I press enter, control enter, then correct, no, numeric nga siya. No? Okay, isa pa, class D1A, which is your exponential. Numeric ba siya? Control enter, numeric siya. Okay? So yung pi at saka yung exp, they are numeric. About DA to? May D, hindi ko po pala naran to, no? D1. All right. So what if, let's say I create another object D2, Alt minus, D2 is equal to 3. Okay, what's this class? So let's create this object D2, control enter. All right, lumabas siya dito, no? D2, 3. Do you think this is numeric or integer? Without running a code first, what's your guess? Is this numeric or integer? Guess lang muna. Huwag nyo muna i-ka-class. What's your guess, class? Is this numeric or integer? Kasi yung pangalawa, integer. Integer lang. Thank you, Vince. How about the others? Integer. All right. Okay, good. Thank you for your answers, class. Let's see. Let's check. Kung yung 3, integer ba siya? So what's our function for that? Class and then D2, diba? Kasi D2 yung object na 3 eh. If we run this, oh, it's not integer, no? It is numeric. Okay, yung 3 numeric yan. Kahit na wala siya nakalagay na 3.1, ang understanding nito, it's 3.000 something, no? So may decimal place pa rin yun. Now, if you want to generate an integer, let's generate this object D3, Alt minus, So you have to put 3L. Okay, yan. The putting of L here tells us that this is a long integer. And it will store 3 as an integer in object D3. Okay, so let me put parentheses here. Okay, para i-print niya. Okay, let's take a look. D3, control enter. All right, so 3 siya, di ba? Print niya yung 3. And then let's check. Arrow up, arrow. Ayan. Class, gawin kong class D3, tingnan natin. Class D3, control enter. Okay, integer siya. So ang integer sa R, dinalagyan natin ng L. Okay? For our purposes, hindi man natin masyadong gagamitin si integer. Kaya, basta alam lang natin na pag may L yan, integer yan. Okay, character naman, plus. Let's create another object before. Hopefully, okay lang yung pace ko, no? Kasi parang inuulit lang naman natin yung ginagawa natin activity. D4, character. So, paano naging character yan? Ang character sa R, any character in R should have a quotes. Quotes, and then let's say true. So this is a character. A character in R is placed in quotes. So if we run this, okay, control enter, D4, okay, take note, no? Yung object na D4. Dali baka may question. Okay. So D4, true, and let's check ano yung class niya. Class D4. Okay, correct. Character. That distinguishes it from yung logical. Kunyari D5 to. D5 alt minus, and then I put here true. Or, okay, I just put here TRUE. Okay, ito. Logical ba to? Let's run this, control enter. Anong sabi dito? Object true not found. Okay, bakit hindi siya found? Kasi it's neither logical nor character. Kasi kung character to, dapat may quotes to, di ba? Eh, hindi tayo naglagay ng quotes. So we're telling R to consider this as what? So hindi nare-recognize ni R yan. If we want this to be a logical value, true, it should be all capitals, no? Ayan. Tapos makikita nyo na nag-color siya, colored pink, no? So if I run this, control enter, there. D5, ayan, true. Ayan, kita nyo sa environment, di ba? And then if I type class, small letters lang, class ng D5, okay, it's now a logical value. Okay? If I put quotes here, so D5, dinagyan ko ng quotes yan, hindi na logical yan. It becomes a character value. Okay, let's try. Quotes, and then quotes here. All right, take note, hindi nag-iba na yung kulay, di ba? Okay, so what does this become? Okay, notice na naka-true siya, quotes. And then if I run arrow up, yan, D5. Wait. Yan. Class ng D5, okay? Ang D5 natin ngayon yung my quotes, no? Check, control enter. It's now a character. All right, so there's a difference between a logical value and a character. So you can spell it as true or pwede ring T lang, no? So ito mababasa ni R as logical, but I don't suggest, I don't recommend you using T kasi pwede natin magamit na variable yung T. Okay, so if I run that, okay, si D5, take note, no? Even if I wrote just T, take note, ang value niya true, ba? And if I once again here go to console, arrow up to access the class D5 para hindi ko na i-type, control enter. All right, so it's logical now. Okay, any questions so far, class? I hope clear tayo so far yung sa mga data natin so far, yung types ng data natin. Okay, good. Thank you. So, quick review lang ng diniscuss natin. We learned how to generate an assignment operator. No? Yung assignment operator, pag Windows kayo, Alt minus, pag Mac, Option minus. And it's used to give a name to a particular value, particular object. Okay? So, katulad nito, nag-create tayo ng isang object na D1A, ang value niya, e to the first power. Okay? So, dito makikita natin yan dito. And any object that you create here, will be reflected here. If you want, you can remove, no? You can remove any object here. The function is rm, remove. For example, I want to remove D1A. So, pwede nyo matanggal yan, no? Okay, rm, D1A. If I run this, Control Enter, okay, nawala na si D1A. So, if I print D1A, diba? D1A, Control Enter, error, object D1A not found. Bakit? Wala na siya, diba? Remove na natin. So, this is where your objects are stored. You can access those this. No? So these are actually called vectors, but we're going to study that next time. No? Kung ano yung mga vectors. All right. So let's now go to complex naman. No? Complex. Let's create this object D6. Alt minus, and then it's, let's say, 3. If you recall in your algebra, let's say 9i. Diba? Complex number to. Complex number 3 plus 9i. You have a real number and then imaginary number. If you recall your algebra, that's square root of negative 9 and square root of negative 81 pala, which is 9i. Okay? Alright, so if I run this, lagyan ko lang dito ng parenthesis. Okay? Parenthesis. By the way, these are comments. No? If the hashtag is found inside inside the code chunk, hindi siya heading. Unlike yung mga pound sign sa labas, no, itong mga to, di ba? Heading siya. Pag nasa loob ng code chunk, comment yan. It will not be run. Okay? So, pound sign, numeric. So, ano siya, comment. And R will not run that. Okay, so punta na tayo dito sa D6 natin. Print natin D6. Okay, so 3 plus 9i. And then let's get the class of D6. D6 there. So it's a complex number. Okay? All right. Any questions so far, class? I hope you're able to follow. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Very good. Okay. Now, lastly, so for today, yan, assignment operator, nakuha na naman natin yan. Okay, then we will now have yung next, definitely hindi natin aabutin to, no? So next meeting from row 59 tayo, no? Row 59, yung data structures. Okay, so andyan dyan si vectors, lists, matrices, arrays, factors, and data frames. So hopefully, one session tayo next Monday sa class, no? We'll be able to do this. Please bring your laptops and bring this file, yung project file na to, no? Para i-access ulit natin. Okay, we have the date, no? Ano naman yung date? Let's create another object, D7, alt minus. Okay, so let's make it 20. Okay. 2023, and then dash 05 dash 11. Today is May 11. No? May 11. If I run this, okay, Control Enter. Okay, i-print natin siya. Open and close parenthesis. Okay, notice that it gives us 2007. Bakit siya nag-2007? Kinonsider siya ng numeric ni R, no? 2023 minus 5 minus 11, 2007 nga. So if I type class, then D7, numeric siya, no? So that's not how you create dates in Excel. Why don't we try this? Okay, sabihin natin D7A. Tingnan nga natin, pwede ba yung 2023 slash 05 slash 11? Will this work? Dapat ba slash, hindi minus? Okay, if we print this, okay, value na naman, no? Ibig sabihin, nag-divide, 2023 divide by 5 divide by 11. So the class of D7A is actually also class D7A. It will be numeric, no? Numeric yan. So how do we create dates in R? Okay, ano lang ako, no? Control Alt. Okay, let's create a new code chunk. Di ba? Ang code chunk natin ito, di ba? Control Alt I or Command Option I, just for you to recall, no? Okay, sana tayo. Dito, Control Alt I, that's our code chunk. Okay, so I'm going to create an object called D7B. Okay, Alt minus. Okay, and then I'm going to use this function as that date. So my function na as that date. Okay? And then, ang gagawin ko, if I use this, ito, Control C, Control V. Pwede ba yan? And let's print. Let's print D7B. Control Enter. What happened? Error siya, no? Bakit, class? Ano mali dito? Sa as that date. What do you think, class? Anyone? Anyone venture a guess? We would like to create this object, date na po siya. Okay. All right, correct, no? Kuji, salamat, no? Kuji is correct. Dapat itong date na to, may quotes dapat siya. So let's put quotes here. Okay. There. So let's print this, Control Enter. All right, take note of this, no? 2023-05-11, let's take the class of D7B. Ano class ni D7B? Control Enter. It's a date. Okay? So in finance, gagamitin natin dates talaga, no? Yung mga dates object. Okay? So this is how you generate a date object in R. So it's already almost time. So just a quick review. What did we learn? We learned about the YAML, no? Ito class, pwede nyo pang aralin to, no? Tapos tingnan nyo yung mga benefits nito. Because you can create a book just by changing the YAML. We learned about inserting a code chunk using Control Alt I or Command Option I. Okay? We learned about yung code chunk na sinasama natin yung include is equal to false, di ba? Hindi masasama yung code na yun at saka yung output. Or echo is equal to false. Ibig sabihin nun, iraran siya, pero hindi siya isasama yung code, pero iraran siya yung output. Alright, then we learned about the different data classes. You have numeric, integer, character, logical, complex, date. Okay, so next meeting, pupunta na tayo sa data structures, yung vectors, lists, matrices, arrays, factors, and data frames. All right. So any questions, class? It's already time. I hope you learned something today. Okay, may natutunan ba? Paki-confirm na, paki-chat naman kung may value added naman tong discussion natin. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great. All right. So with that, class, we end our session for today. I'm going to, sorry, stop recording ko na muna pala. Na-stop recording ko na ba? Okay. And, sige, and